A gas station is supposed to be a place people pass through. A quick stop, a few minutes, a receipt, a ride home. But for Marchello Williams, one moment at a gas station became the moment that changed the rest of his life. The charge was murder. The verdict was guilty. The sentence would eventually become 50 years. But before the courtroom, before the sentence, before the headlines, there was his side of the story.
Yeah, man, that's the main thing that I want people to know, that like this they just tell everything that happened, bro. And it's messed up because my life is on the line and they don't care about none of that. All they want is a conviction. They violated so many rights that shouldn't be violated. That's why I know I was getting a new trial, but the fact that I even gotta go through this is messed up because it's misconduct, bro, at the highest level. And it's not just the prosecutor or the public defender or the police department or the jail. It's all of them, and they're working together to do this.
Before Marchello Williams became a defendant, before his name was attached to a murder case, he was a brother, a son, a father, a man with a life that existed outside of court documents. See, that part matters, because once a person is charged with murder, the world often stops seeing the person. It sees the charge.
My government name is Marchello Williams. My rap name is Chelly Cho. I'm from Vienna, Georgia. Um, the people probably would know me from being a member of a couple of groups, the most successful one being GA71. We work with Rick Ross, we work with Peter Crack and other members from Rockefeller. We work with Jody Breeze, a lot of notable names. We had a lot of success going on in the early 2000s. We were working on a deal with Def Jam, so we all went back to the drawing board. And me as an individual, I gave myself my music career until I was 30 before if I didn't make it by the time I was 30, I was going to have to figure something else out to help my mom and my kids. So I started pursuing a career driving trucks after after the unfortunate events that happened with the Death Jam thing.
In his own words, Marchello remembers that time as more than just the beginning of a case. He remembers the people around him, the decisions, the pressure, the ordinary details that, looking back, no longer feel ordinary.
All right, well, since I started driving trucks, I moved back to Jersey. I originally came to Jersey with you guys whenever we was working on the music. Since I started driving trucks and got my CDL, I came back up here because I was going through like a little split with my baby mom, and we was dealing with a lot of drama that was it wasn't a good situation. We'll just put it like that. So we had a lot of issues going on, but at the end of the day, my main concern was my kids, which is why I ended up back in Jersey, because there was a lot of things going on with my kids, and I didn't feel that they were safe up here without me. So that's how I ended up moving back to New Jersey.
Every case has a timeline, but every person has a life before that timeline begins. The story begins in Salem County, New Jersey in 2021. According to the case record, the incident happened at a gas station. What happened there would become the center of the case. But the meaning of that moment depends on who is telling the story.
Yeah, my baby mom got into an argument. She called this dude that I know about New York who come around my neighborhood. She called him to the house. He came to the house with a weapon. When he came to the house with the gun, I left the house. I'm paraphrasing and trying to keep it short because of time restraints. But he came to the house. I called Ben. I left the house, going to Ben's house. He followed me Burlington County all the way to Turnersville.
Now let's put this in perspective. For those of you who don't live in New Jersey, you would take 295 south to go to Turnersville, and it would take approximately 49 minutes. And Marchello is claiming that the man whom he had an incident with followed him from Browns Mills, New Jersey to Turnersville.
What happened was A couple times there were cars trying to run me off the road, first of all, while I was on my way from Burlington County to down here. It was a gang stalking type deal. It wasn't one person like they trying to make it look in the media. It was a gang of people. The guy who died in my situation was a gang member. They're not trying to let that come to light. They don't want people to know that this man was a gang member, that he wasn't the only one in the Flying J this night. These people followed me. The guy that I initially got into it with, New York, followed me to Turnersville. That was my last time seeing him. He called other people to pick up where he left off. So I was still being followed by multiple gang members in his syndicate or whatever you want to call it. And they followed me from Gloucester County all the way to Salem County, where I ended up getting locked up there.
In a criminal case, details become everything. Who was there, who saw what, who said what, who moved first, who felt threatened, who had time to think, and sometimes the smallest details become the biggest questions.
Aaron off to get on 295 South headed to Georgia, and they tried to run me off the road. When they tried to run me off the road, I had to end up stopping like in the middle of the fork in the road and get back on the road. So when I seen what type time they was on with that, I drove further down the road. I went to the TA truck stop in Paulsboro. When I went into the TA truck stop in Paulsboro, I went in and asked, because I'm calling my family the whole time trying to get help and let them know what's going on. So my cousin told me to find a Western Union. So I go to the TA truck stop in Paulsboro. A white Charger and that same black Mercedes that tried to run me off the road followed me into the TA truck stop in Paulsboro. When they followed me to the TA truck stop in Paulsboro, I went into the store, asked them if they had Western Union. They said no. So I'm like, shit, now I gotta leave and try to get down further to another truck stop to find the Western Union. So I left the TA truck stop in Paulsboro. I called my brother Twan and told him what was going on. And while I'm driving down the street talking to my brother Twan on the phone, the white Charger leaves in front of me from the TA truck stop. The black Mercedes leaves behind me. While I'm headed down 295, headed towards Pillsgrove, the white Charger pulled over to the side of the road, and one of the dudes go into the trunk of the car. So when he goes into the trunk of the car, I'm like, I definitely got to get the fuck off the road. So I'm going as fast as I can to get to the truck stop in Pillsgrove. So once I get to Pillsgrove, I go into the Pilot first. There's two truck stops in the Pilot that I went to. The first one that I went to, the first truck stop I went to was the Pilot. Both of the truck stops are owned by the same company. Had footage from both truck stops. They know that I was in both truck stops. They saw these dudes follow me into both truck stops. The dudes that was following me pulled into the Pilot. They came into the store behind me. So all the dudes that I'm telling you, you knew them by the gang signs that they were throwing, and they were wearing blue, and some of them had on purple, some of them had on Adidas. But for the most part, the way that I was identifying them was that they were using gang signs to threaten me. The gang sign that they was using was that they was trying to slime me out. That's like rubbing your finger across your nose, and that I was food. That's like patting your stomach. I told them all of this in court. I told the police this from day one. They hid evidence. They suppressed all evidence of everything that I told them about in the stores. My lawyer tried to make it look like I was suffering from delusional disorder, which is some bullshit. She hired this this psychiatrist to say exactly what they paid him to say. He said that I was delusional, but the thing about that is he had absolutely no scientific backing to come to his diagnosis. He had no evidence whatsoever to prove that I was suffering from any kind of mental disorder. But they used his testimonies to undermine my self-defense testimony. Do you feel like you was a loser in the situation, or do you feel like you was fighting for your life? You know me since 1995. When have you ever known me to be delusional? When have you ever known me to just make up shit that didn't happen? Yo, this dude said that he saw me smoking PCP in the parking lot of the car at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, I was in Turnersville running from New York. But the thing about this is, this nigga had open cases. He had open cases. They suppressed all of this evidence. Like when a witness in the case has an open case and he can color his testimony to do what the state want him to do. They supposed to present all of that to the defense. They supposed to reveal all of that to the defense. This man facing a 5-year jail sentence, so he's willing to do whatever the prosecution want him to do to have some kind of leniency in his situation, which is what he did. This is where the stuff that they put in the paper came from. They printed in the newspaper that I appeared to be under the influence of drugs. That came from Alexander Rodriguez's statement to police. Alexander Rodriguez is a recovering drug addict himself who's facing 5 years in prison and shouldn't be printed. Like nothing he said should have been printed in no newspaper against me. But what the police and the district attorney did was they used public perception to try to convict me. They used public opinion. They tried to convict me in the court of public opinion. Basically, the stuff that this man said, they used to prejudice me in the newspaper. So if you put that kind of stuff in the newspaper about somebody without knowing the facts of the case, it looks like, oh, this Jeffy dude got high and went crazy in the parking lot and started wielding a hammer. That was never the case. After the gang members came into the pilot behind me, I left the pilot to go to the flying jail, where more of them came and some of the same ones came. This is all caught on video. They have video of some of the dudes that followed me into the pilot following me into the flying jail. Which is why they suppressed the entire pilot video. The pilot video was never shown in my trial because they don't want these people to know that they followed me from the pilot to the flying jail. Then they followed me to the flying jail. 2 cars backed up beside me, and a bunch of more gang members came into the store. The white Charger that pulled over to the side of the road, and another car. I didn't really know what kind of car it was. There was another car on the side of that white Charger that backed up. They backed up in a manner like they were trying to put me in the trunk of the car. So I get up and goes back into the store. When I go back into the store, the dude that died, the dude Kasheem Porter. Oh, let me give you some background on him too while we're here. They want to make you believe that Kasheem Porter was this hard-working, upstanding citizen who do anything for his family and his kids. That's not true. What happened is they never told you why I killed this dude. This is where they violated my constitutional rights here. They tried to make it look like I just got high and went in the store and started whipping the hammer. This was never, that's one thing that my lawyer conveniently pointed out at my trial. It was never a whodunit. I admitted that I killed this dude from the very beginning. I also told them why. What they did was they didn't tell you why I killed the dude. I killed the dude because he was trying to kill me.
This is where the story turns. A moment that may have lasted seconds became the center of a murder trial. The prosecution would later present its version. Marchello would maintain his.
I hit the nigga with a hammer because they was surrounding me in the store trying to fucking kill me.
From that point forward, 2 stories began moving at the same time. One story was the official story, the police reports, the charge, the evidence, the statements, and eventually the courtroom arguments. The other was Marchello's story. What he says happened, what he says people misunderstood, and what he believes was missing from the version that reached the jury.
Well, the reason that I couldn't really, you got to understand that this is happening in real time. It ain't nothing that I got time to sit down and reflect on. It's here. The situation is here. You've been around the hood since you was kids, but you know how situations transpire and how quick stuff can go from being nothing to being dead. It's nothing. You see the news footage and stuff that happens up here, how these people run down on people up here. They call it walking them down. Bro, so if I'm sitting here and a guy already came to my house with a gun, and there's another nigga outside my door parked, outside the store parked by my car with a gun. In my mind, all these niggas on and they trying to kill me, I have to act. It's imminent terror. I don't have time to sit down and think about right and wrong. I'm in survival mode the whole time, bro. I did everything I could to get away from them, and they showed me they were out for blood. At this point, it's basically survival. That's the only thing. That's the only answer I could give you about how I felt, bro. To survive the situation, get out of it in one piece. Honestly, the part that started I was in is the truckers' lounge. Right outside the truckers' lounge is all the truck supply. There's people parked outside if they show the whole video, which they won't show, then you'll see the situation as it happened. Bro, they was all over the store. These people were inside of the store. He wasn't the only one in the store. It was multiple gang members with him in the store. My public defender knew this, the prosecutor knew this, the police knew this. They took that out of the video to make it look how they wanted it to look. So when I get the hammer, I'm not fighting one person like they tried to make it look. I'm not just getting the hammer and beating him up. I get the hammer for protection because I'm outnumbered. I'm heavily outnumbered. It's not just one or two people, it's an ass load of people. And they're in the videos, and I pointed them out in the videos in the store. The police know this, the prosecutor knew this, my public defender knew this, and they started showing this and presenting the truth to these people and this man's family, because even though this happened, I have some kind of sympathy for his family and what they're going through because they lost their son. But at the same time, if your son would have been home with you, bro, and I can say this because they already convicted me, they taking my life for defending myself. So I have no reason to bite my tongue about my feelings. I'm sympathetic to your plight that you lost your son. But to me, I feel like I only put it goes to you because honestly, and people gonna hate me for saying this and think I'm stupid for saying this, because fuck your son, because your son is trying to kill me, bro. So I'm gonna say it to you because I know you lost your child. I know that hurts you. But if your child would have been home with you instead of trying to eat me and slime me out and wipe my nose, it's time to still be here today. And I want you to put that on the internet, just like I said it when we saying all of that. Because I want them to know, I want the public to know that if this man would have been home with his family, who they feel like they gotta crucify me for, instead of in this store trying to rob me or kill me or whatever it was his intentions was to do, then that man wasn't even dead, bro. I was running from these people.
The state charged him with murder. The charge carried weight before anyone ever heard his explanation. A murder charge does not whisper. It enters the room loud. It changes how people look at you. It changes what they believe is possible. It changes what they are willing to hear. From this point on, the case was no longer about what happened. It became about what could be proven, what could be argued, and what 12 people would eventually believe.
I don't have a gun. They got guns, bro. What you want me to do? Just because they didn't find a gun on his body don't mean that man didn't have a gun. It's already documented in my case that the officer that was the lead investigator on this case was tampering with evidence. They handled the hammer after the incident. They deleted video after the incident. And if this man had a gun on him when it happened, then they took that gun and hid that gun. This officer didn't play by the rules at all. This officer was violating, doing crooked stuff from the very beginning. But I was in that store 2 hours. This man deleted everything, proving that these people were following me. This man literally said in his interview with me, "What if I said I ain't see nobody following you?" To which I responded, I would say that's bullcrap.
For Marchello, the gas station was the beginning, but the courtroom would become the place where his future was decided. There, the story would be taken apart piece by piece. Witnesses, evidence, arguments, objections, questions. And somewhere inside of all of that, Marchello says his side was fighting hard to be heard.
I know I get them inside because of the stuff that they did. The stuff that they did was so illegal, bro, that no review in court allowed to stand. But the problem with that is it could take years. Like it could take anywhere from 5 to 15 years. That's the whole bid that they wanted done anyway. For them to come back and say, okay, well, yeah, they suppressed exculpatory evidence. We just convict him of, we'll just reduce it from murder to manslaughter, and now everybody can. When I should have been acquitted because you knew these people were trying to kill you, and you it's deliberately and intentionally covered it up, and you did it using illegal means. That's not right, man. That's not justice in no shape, form, or fashion. And the prosecutor's job is not to get a conviction. It's to see that justice is done, that the innocent don't suffer, and that the guilty don't go free.
The incident was over. but the battle over what it meant was just beginning.